Welcome everybody. It's Crotchety Crochet number 17. Today's topic is books. Welcome everyone. I'm so glad you are here. If you are here and lurking, I'm so glad that you are here. I appreciate you very much. I know I say it on every time, but I have lots of people who only watch that way. And I'm just really want you to know how much I appreciate you. And if you've come back to watch this on replay, I really appreciate you too. Replays are awesome. I have lots of wonderful replay viewers that sometimes they don't even leave comments, but they never miss a single one. And I want you guys to know I appreciate you too. So, hi, Victoria, working on your socks. I have been wanting to get some socks going. I haven't started them yet, but I've got ideas for them. Hi, Joyce. Now, I do have the stream going on restream with my phone, but I also have my tablet set up here because it's a little easier to see the comments over here on my tablet. So if I look down to look at the comments, that's what I'm doing, y'all. What are you guys drinking and what are you working on? I have my Colorado cup again. And I have community coffee. It is the First Light. It's the brand new one that just came out from Community Coffee. I got it while I was in Louisiana. Hi, Kim. How are you, Kim G? Good to see you. Hi, Lorna. Come on in. This one is a light roast and it has brown sugar and honey and it's so good. Victoria's got iced tea in her cup and finally understanding toe up socks. Cool. I've only done top down. I want to do some toe up ones. Serbs is here. He wants to know who you talking to. What are you doing? Are you doing that thing again? Told him he had to go lay over there. He was wanting to get in between the cameras and stuff, and I'm like, you have to go there. Gracie, hello, hello. I have just started another bulky hat. This is that big twist yarn. I had another one of those. This is that static. And this color is dark blue brown. And I used part of it on something else. And then I'm going to, for the, I'm going to do the opposite, kind of the opposite. I used this Donna yarn, something sunset, and I used it to make one of my hats in the bulky weight, and I'm going to use this to do the paw prints. Joyce is on Sleep Island for a sweater for her son. Currently nothing to drink. Okay. She's dry right now. So that's what I'm going to be working on while we talk. Now, here's what I decided to do today. Hey, Sally, I'm going to do the tag. Now, there's a couple different tags. So I'm going to kind of combine everything and spread it out onto a couple different lives instead of doing dedicated videos. Today's, we're going to talk about top 10 books. Now, basically what I did was I pulled a list of books of things that just came to mind because I really enjoyed them. And I have one of them here with me so I could show it to you. It's not really like a top 10 per se, but it's 10 that were top of my mind as far as books remembered and enjoyed. What you doing, Sally? So I wanted to start. Well, first of all, if we go way back, I would say probably my very favorite book as a child would be Dr. Seuss, One Fish, Two Fish. That's probably my favorite. One fish, two fish, three fish, four fish. Red fish, blue fish. Y'all know the story, but that would probably be that and the one about the zoo. Those two books would probably be my childhood favorites as far as if we're going way back, y'all. That's way back. But I did not really put those on the list. And then as I got older, books that I read and remember and stuck with me, one of those for sure would be Old Yeller. I know, the dog. The dog gets me. What can I say? So Old Yeller, and okay. So those would probably be. And as far as books, other books that I read when I was a child, I don't know that I remember too many of them. Did my chat quit? Or y'all just not talking? Okay, Nightbot's here now. I know the restream chat's slower. It's definitely slower. Okay, so these aren't in any order. I went through a phase of reading a lot of romance books, a lot. Um, Linda Leo Miller, uh, a lot of hers. And I read a lot of Laverne Spencer. And I don't know if any of you read romance books. So it'd be fun if you tell me in the chat if you have read any of these books or any of these authors. And then leave comments for if you watch this back, leave comments. And if I did not mention it, the first one to tag me, I think the first one to tag me was uh, Lady Crochet Manuela. And then the next one I think to tag me was Michael at MDL Crochet. And then I was also tagged by Lori of Lori's Stories and Crochet, by Matt, the Rockin' Crocheter. And of course, one of those tags started with Craig, the Fiber Spider. You've never read Old Yeller? Oh, so good. Of course, there was a movie, and the movie was very good also. It was also really good, and it's a tearjerker. I tend to like the tearjerkers, or I used to really like the tearjerkers before I started to get into more science fiction and um, fantasy stuff, and then also the crime stuff. But the crime stuff's always kind of been around for me too. So the Laverne Spencer book, which I think is more not really a tearjerker, but more of a feel good kind of story, and that is Morning Glory. And that book is about a woman who she lost her husband, and this is a Laverne Spencer. She lost her husband, and she puts an ad in the local paper, and this is way back, like pioneer days, and she needs help. because she's got this little boy and got this farm, and she has no really, doesn't really have money. She doesn't really have anything to offer, but she puts this ad in, and this man answers the ad, and he comes and works for her, and they wind up getting married and living happily ever after. And it's really a feel good, very, very much a feel good book. But it has stuck with me, and I don't know why that particular story by her, because I've read a lot of her books. But one in particular was just a kind of fun because, she had kind of like employed him, but at the same time, their relationship was changing, and he goes to kind of being more in charge. And it's just the dynamic changes as their relationship changes, and it was a lot of fun to read. So then if we move into like my young adult days, then there is more well, I did get into some more like horror type stuff. I love Dean Koontz and I love Stephen King. So if we're talking in that kind of horror type stuff, I love them. Pet Cemetery, the book is so much better than the movie. I love the movie. Yes, like Plain and Tall. Sarah Plain and Tall, very similar, pioneer, rugged. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that book was more like that. Definitely, Sally. So yeah, Pet Cemetery is just it it was scary but readable. it was not it was not like so scary I couldn't read it or finish it. Let's put it that way. It was just scary good. It was one of those scary good. But the movie from it is just to me kind of goofy. Serbs is on the horn, and Duke is now here. Now he's in here where it's nice and cool because Mom's got two air conditioners on. Okay, I did that one, and I did that one. Okay, then in high school, I would say the book that I really, really enjoyed was The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. I remember when it came out. I remember it, and it didn't come out in paperback first. I think it came out paperback later. And I wound up with the paperback version. I remember getting it from the library, I believe in hardback, and then buying or owning at some point, getting the paperback. If I'm not, don't quote me on that for sure, because that's not something I don't remember the dates and stuff. It's too far back. But love The Hobbit. And it became something that was interesting to me because Mr. Fiber and I both love The Lord of the Rings. And he owned all of the movies, all of the books, and the movies that he got were the full, like, theatrical, with all of the backstory and the all of the where they talk about the making of the movies and all of that. And we have watched all of that together. We used to sit and watch tons and tons of movies together. And it was really interesting. We'll talk about that more when we get to the movies, but it was interesting because I had not had the ability to do that in my life. Okay. Then I read, of course, I read a lot of Dean Koontz, and I read Watchers, and I reread Watchers again as an adult. I read it as a teenager and then reread it, or young adult. And then I read it not long ago again on audiobook. And that is by Dean Koontz, and it's called Watchers. And again, it's the dog. The dogs get me, you guys. Hi, Bridget. Come on in. But in Watchers, it's about these enhanced dogs. Well, one in particular. And the one is the good dog. And then there's a bad dog out there that's rogue. And there's they've been experimented on, and the dog can talk to people, certain people. And it's just, Joyce says Led Zeppelin's Misty Mountain Hop inspired by The Hobbit. Good song. How are you, Bridget? What you working on? So that, and all right, what else we got? So Watchers. Then as a young adult, I did start to get into the true crime stuff. And that was two books that really sparked my interest in true crime. The first one being Small Sacrifices. And that is the story of, it's the one Farrah Fawcett plays her in the movie, which is a good movie, and it's an Anne Rule. And that got me down the road with all the Anne Rule books. So I started reading all the Anne Rule books, and I own a lot of them. Oh, don't say it too loud. Okay. Is somebody reactive to that, Joyce? Don't say BD. Oh, that sounds awesome. Bridget, that sounds so cool. You will rock that. I know you will. Yeah, Farrah Fawcett of Burning Bed. Yes. And Small Sacrifices, actually, Sacrifices might be the Susan Smith story. I get those two titles messed up. Burning Bed, I think, was the movie. They were both written by Anne Rule, though. And then the next one would be Scream at the Sky by Carlton Stowers. And that one I read because it is the story of Farian Wardrobe in Wichita Falls, and I was living in Wichita Falls. And Farian Wardrobe, who had killed many women in Wichita Falls, had been on my porch. And um, I found the book that spoke of all of the trial and all of the things, the backstory with all of it. And that story has stuck with me, of course, for a really, really long time. Yeah, that's the problem here too. It's been raining today, sprinkling today. I don't know if I'm going to get to go do, I went ahead, took my shower and all that stuff. I don't know if I'm going to get to go swimming today. I did not go swimming yesterday. I need to go swimming. Uh, it is what it is. Yeah, getting to get out on the bike without it raining, I'm sure is tough too. Okay, what else we got? So later on, when I met Mr. Fiber, there are there's one huge bookcase and then there's two smaller bookcases. And on one of the bookcases, it has on the lower portion of it, it's all my cookbooks and stuff. The rest of them are all his books. And then he has more books in the back room. He has more there my all of my like books I've set aside that are all just things I would read are in the front room where the boys stay when they come, the guest room. So we have a lot of books here, but most of Mr. Fiber's are sci-fi and fantasy. Most of them. Tammy, oh, I'm so glad to see you, Tamra. So glad. Glad you were able to make it. So that brings me to the fantasy books. Now, Mr. Fiber, I had already read years ago, I had read some different fantasy type books, and I can't remember those. I can't remember. I know that I have read them, but I can't remember. But he introduced me to Heinlein and Feist. But my favorite Feist book is in the it is in the Merlin series. Raymond Feist writes about Merlin. And my favorite one is this one. It's The Mistress of the Empire. And it's a Raymond Feist with Janie Wirtz. So this particular one in the series was written from a woman's perspective. Now we had, speaking of rain, we had a weekend when I read this book that it rained. It was really nothing we could go do. The road had flooded, and we were like, we're just going to read. And I read this in one weekend. Not something I typically do. With my dyslexia and my problem with retaining and being able to read without everything blurring out on me, it's difficult for me to get through a book like that. But this one I love. This is my favorite in his series. It's written, like I said, from the woman's perspective. But I really enjoy. I have not finished this series, and I was thinking about that today. I have been on about 23 minutes, something like that. Hi, Mimi. Now, if your eyes are bothering you, girlfriend, you be careful. Good to see you. So, if you are interested in a really good series and you like fantasy, look up Raymond Feist, his Merlin series. They're so good. But it it really gets out there. It's kind of a medieval meets fantasy. And all of the books are thick. So, yeah. And I don't even know where this falls in the lineup. And there's actually three with her. There's Daughter of the Empire, Mistress of the Empire, Servant of the Empire. But I mean, there's a whole it's a whole series. Anyway, so Mr. Fiber is the one that got me reading those. Mimi's giving everybody hugs. And then the other ones that he got me to reading, as I said, were the Heinlein books. So there's a lot of people who have read Heinlein, and have read Stranger in a Strange Land. If you know that one by Heinlein, that's that's one that a lot of people recognize, and it's a good one. But one of the ones I really have enjoyed from Heinlein is The Cat Who Walked Through Walls. I like that one a lot. That was probably one of my favorites. And it's one of the ones that got me to understand that that way Heinlein writes his books is that he curates his own characters from his own books, and they spread out across his books. Even though you could read them alone, then if you read them all, then you realize, that's so and so from such and such book. I mean, it's they really are spread out. And then a recent book that I read from Stephen King is called Fairy Tale. And I'm going to tell you, I think that's his best book ever. I was enthralled with that book from the beginning to the end. I couldn't stop. Did that on audio, and I couldn't stop listening to that book, Fairy Tale. That one was so good. It's another fantasy one. It's not really a horror story, but in a way it is, because he talks about people who are disfigured, and he talks about you know kind of the boogeyman in a way. Um, it's a world that's down below our world that she doesn't know I'm live. I know I probably went away for a minute there. I might could message her. Let me see. Hold on. There we go. Okay. It's all good. So that's my list of the books. Now, I also wrote down the questions for the crochet, because that's the one that Manuela and Michael of MDL Crochet, they tagged me on it was the crochet and music. And then Matt tagged me on the books and movies. So I'm kind of combining things. Hi, Lynn. Good to see you again. Aw, she's got her member deal. Look at all my members. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate you. Um, so I did write down the questions for the crochet. How did you learn to crochet is the first question. Hmm. I learned to crochet from my mom. My mother taught me both crochet and knitting. The knitting did not stick with me. It was more complicated. And not only am I dyslexic, but I'm also left-handed. My mother was right-handed. So in order to teach me anything, she would put me in front of her, and then I would watch her work that way. And that's how I learned how to crochet. And as a growing up, I never did anything at all except granny squares. Granny square blankets is what I made. Just one continuous granny square. I never turned it. I never changed the color on rounds purposely. Everything was whatever yarn I could get. I started with the first yarn. I ran it till it ran out, and I started the next one. And I ran over all the ends as I went. I learned that as a child, and I didn't have to tuck in any ends until the very end. And I think when I was younger, I used to just tie them in knots. The first one and the last one just got tied in a knot right at the end. That's it. Just cut it off. And I made so many of those blankets. My mother knit and crochet, and then whatever she had left over, she'd give to me. So there was never any yarn left over. My mom did not have a stash. There was no stash. My mom purposely bought for her projects. Although she had yarn left over, just a few when she passed away. I did get that, but I got all of that, all of my mom's stuff eventually. Okay. Favorite thing to crochet? Shawls. Shawls and granny square blankets. I guess because I started with those, any kind of granny square blanket, I love granny square blankets, but shawls are my favorite thing to make, period. Whether it's crochet, knitting, any of that, it's shawls. Second would probably be after those things, I would say probably hats. I really like making hats too. The Stephen King fairy tale, the black or dark man character in that one as well. Black or dark man? Maybe so. Yeah, I'd say actually the yes, yes, it's in there. There's also an ogre. You'll find out. There's an ogre. It's just so good. It's so good. And it's if I didn't know, if it didn't say it was Stephen King, I would never have put that as a Stephen King book. Never. I wouldn't have put it as a Dean Koontz book. And I say that because Stephen King's mentor, not mentor, but idol, when he started out was Dean Koontz. And for me, I like Dean Koontz better than Stephen King because his characters are more believable than Stephen King's. So to see that book come out and for it to be that good was not that Stephen King's books are not good, but that's the one book of his that has really drawn me in. I mean, really drawn me in with the characters and stuff. It was really well done. Okay. If you could only use one yarn for the rest of your life, see, that one's hard. I don't like that whole you can't have it thing. Does not go over well with me. You can't have it. I don't like that. You can't have it thing. I don't like that. I would say because it is a natural fiber, if I had to pick just one, I would say bamboo. I would go with bamboo, but only because you make me pick one. Okay. This one, yeah, handspun's hard to beat. It really is. And that's another one that is a fiber that you could get and have and make and do all day long and never, yeah, that's another one that's like that. Um, gosh. So this one is the weirdest thing you ever made. I'll make weird things. I might have made a few wonky or misshaped, or I can't think of a single thing that I've made that I would call weird. Nothing. I can't think of anything. I can't even think of anything I would call like odd, you know. No, it's just nothing comes to mind. So I got nothing for that one. Okay. Something you never crochet. Never crochet. Wall hangings. I never crochet wall hangings. I've had intentions of it. There was um there was one that was a flag that I was gonna do. Never did it. There was one that was a remember when Jeannie Dreams of Crochet, whatever her I honestly cannot remember her name, her channel name, but she did a pendant for us to put all of our like stitch markers and stuff on. I was going to do that one. I bought all the stuff and I didn't do it. Didn't do it. Didn't happen. Something I never crochet is wall hangings. Never crochet that. Where do you get inspiration? It's interesting. I really do feel like the yarn talks to me. Hi, Laura. Laura's Block Ministry. How are you? How's it going? So I'd say the yarn gives me inspiration. Joyce says I never crochet undergarments. There you go. That's another one I don't do. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Um, I like to look at magazines when I'm like we say we lost our Crojo. I like to look at magazines. When I don't have the mental capacity to do anything, I look at magazines. And it sparks I don't know what it is about them that kind of gets me going again. I'm like, maybe it's the fact that I have so many magazines and books and there's no way I will ever get to all these patterns that I'm like, well, I need to at least do one or two. um, Mimi says she never does jewelry. That's another one. I've always wanted to do jewelry, Mimi, especially earrings. I just have never done it. I have made a bookmark. That might be the most off the wall thing. I did a bookmark in mosaic. Uh, Favorite thing I've made this year. Wow, this year. Huh. I've done a lot of stuff already. I think the favorite, and my friend Cheryl is going to just laugh when she hears this. I think the favorite things I've made have been those crochet ragdolls this year. Those have been my favorites. They just turned out so good, so good. You want to do a graph gan someday? I'm wanting to do a graph gan someday. I am. I've got I've got some patterns, some real easy patterns. I've got a book. It's got some real easy, it's a corner to corner book and it's got a Grafgan in it. It's a real simple one. I'm wanting to do that. I'm wanting to do that too, Gracie. Okay, crochet plans for the future. Into the future. Let's see. Everything. Socks. Crochet socks. That's in the future. I'm so close to starting them. I have startitis really, really bad. But I've been on this journey of trying to finish things and not start too many where I'm too far behind and I got like loads of things, and I have loads of things started right now. But I have ideas for finishing off some of the stuff where I won't have that load, you know. So I'm encouraged by that, but future plans. Mm, mm. Crochet socks, knit socks as well, but crochet socks. I'm wanting to do some more granny squares. And I want to do, before I do the granny squares or anything else, I do have another blanket I want to do, and that is that lanterns blanket from Janie Crow. I showed you guys that. Definitely want to do that. The next thing I may start, I got a pattern today. Oh, where did it go? I got a pattern today for a beehive. That's probably going to be the weirdest thing I do. That'll be it. That'll be the weirdest thing I do, right? I got this off of Etsy from Baby Monkey Crochet. I printed it in black and white. And it is a beehive. And I need to make two of these, maybe three. I want to do one for the front porch, and I want to do one for in front of the she shed here. And then I possibly will do one for the back porch. But the back porch is just a small little square, and it's not really that bad. But we get so many wasps, and you're supposed to be able to, they're saying to use jute, hemp, or sisal to make it look like that. But I'm just going to use the natural looking yarn. Mimi says they work. Okay. I'm hoping they work. I like the shape of this one. So we shall see. But this one is done in crochet. That might be the weirdest thing I crochet, right? So that's some of my future plans. I don't know that I have. Oh, I'm also going to do one of Russ's blankets. So that's going to be another granny, but he does it where he does the two granny, skip one, two granny, skip one, and then he goes into the skipped on the way back around. And he's doing that with fingering weight yarn. And I'm going to use some of my ones that are already caked up to do that, to make some of those. So that's some of my future plans. Other than that, washcloths, lots and lots of washcloths, and making them in all kinds of different crochet, knit. I got so many of those books, and I want to do those. And then I have, there's a hat I want to do from that book. There's a hat I want to do. I can't say any more than that. She's probably watching. Um, yeah, I've got a whole stack of stuff that I've pulled out to do down here in my bookcase. Okay, number 9. Worst thing about crochet. You know, I got to thinking about that, and there's really nothing. I know a lot of people don't like the holes that are in crochet, the bigger holes at least, because like the knitted fabric is so much denser and nicer than that. But like, I know a lot of people don't like that it's so open, but to me, it's the weight. I think trying to balance using the yarns you want to use, and especially on garments, but to use them in a garment and not have it be something too heavy and that maybe that's because of where I live, being here in Texas and stuff. Hey, Maribel, good to see you. Some outdoor yarn. Okay. Do you guys think making that beehive in the natural jute or whatever is the only way to make that? Can I not make it in a regular yarn? Like even like the fisherman's wool or something like that? Anyway, um, I think the worst thing is the weight, trying to get weights right with crochet because it does. Yeah, yeah, are you getting, you have another eye push. You got both eyes done, I think. I think Mimi got both eyes done already. This is just like a follow-up, I think. Then favorite thing about crochet is that it's not what you think. It's not just, and it is that it is faster. It is faster than knitting, but my favorite thing about it is what the ability to build. So my brain doesn't build with knitting, but it does with crochet. So if I say, well, I want to go in this direction, I know how to get there from here. And I could almost look at things and say, oh, I think you would just do this and this and this to kind of make it. That's what I like about crochet. With knitting, my brain doesn't work. Maybe it's that easy for some people, but for me, it's not. So, oh, and even a paper bag. Well, that won't last here. Between the wind and the sun and everything else, a paper bag wouldn't work. But thank you, Kim. I'm glad to see that you can make it out of acrylic. Both are done, Mimi says. Okay. Yeah, the plarn might be a little hard on my hands. Yeah. I think I'm going to do it with the natural colored acrylic. We'll see how it goes because that won't be too hard on me. And then we'll see how it goes. But yes, the other thing is about my favorite thing about the crochet is, and I had that in my little micro book, is that I can get a quick win with crochet. I can finish a project and be like, ooh, I finished something. Yeah, the cotton might last longer. You're right. Cotton blend might last longer. I haven't picked the yarn yet. I've got a lot to choose from. That's the questions. That's the first part. Wow, I did that pretty good. 49 minutes. I thought I was going to be take forever doing that. So that worked out nicely. It's time for get another drink of coffee. Whew. What do you guys think of all that? Are you similar to me in that regard with some of those questions? Yeah. I tell you what I am going to do is it's just whatever gets it done. That's what I need to do. Whatever gets the project done. Okay, now we can talk about books. What are you guys reading now? What are you listening to any audiobooks or are reading any physical books right now? Oh gosh, you gotta listen to it. If you have Audible or you can get it on I don't know if it's on Libby. It must be because I think that Joyce said that she got it that way. Y'all, I'll just check that out from the library. Libby is the library deal. Nancy Mac. It's Nancy Mac. Hey, how are you today? Y'all, I love sitting here like this. This is amazing. And this is a great time of day to do this. Mr. Fiber's not home yet. He'll be home probably got another 30 minutes before he'll be home. Dimitri, good to see you. Aw. You know, I bought, let me see if it's over here. Hang on. It's into my cart. This deal. It's called a gimbal traveler. And you're supposed to put your book in it and you can set it down and supposed to be able to use this. Bree, oh my gosh, there's Bree. I haven't seen you in forever. Oh, did you get out of work? Good to see you. Dimitri's listening to My Name is Barbara. It's fascinating. Wow. So what's that about, Dimitri? Can you give us a quick synopsis? We were talking about the book that I was talking about that I've read recently is Fairy Tale by Stephen King. That's the one we've been talking about. It's okay. You're a working girl. Hello, Sharon. She's listening to A Week in Winter by Ma Benchy. Oh my gosh, my mom read all of Ma Benchy's books. Do you like her? I've heard she's really good. I have not read any of them. I should do that in honor of my mom. But I have heard that those Ma Benchy books are so good. She's home now. Okay. Oh, that's the Barbara Streisand book. What was it called again? My Name is Barbara by Barbara Streisand. I bet that is interesting. The book by Stephen King is called Fairy Tale. She dated so many men. Yes, she did. The Prime Minister Trudeau wanted to marry her. Celebrity books are fun to read, aren't they? Because you get that whole behind the scenes that you didn't know was going on when they were making such and such a movie or cutting such and such an album. And I like to watch the documentaries more than anything. I'm more likely to watch the documentaries than read their books, but they're fascinating. So anyway, this one is kind of cool. You take your book. Oh, and it goes over it, over it like that, and then over the other side. And then you can set it down and it holds it open. So I could sit here and read while I do stuff. And then you just take one page out at a time and slip it over into the other side. You know, you just take one out. That was Dad calling me. You just slip it out and put it over into the other side. Like that. And this can just sit right here on my chair and I could read that way. Oh, you're reading The Princess Bride. I forget who wrote that one. Princess Bride. I'm trying, but I can't remember who wrote it. Yeah, listening to books that are read by the actual celebrity. Uh-huh. Oh, I didn't know Prince Harry wrote one. I bet that one's really good. Tuna sandwich and chips. I want to like tuna, but I'd rather just have chicken. I want to like tuna, but I don't. But yeah, this thing is by Gimbal. It's called, I don't know if you're even going to see that on there. Gimbal, the Traveler. This I got at Barnes and Noble. Also, you guys, guess what? What day is today? See, I had to take my watch off to charge it. Today's the 14th. I'm gonna have to look and see, but I think that this weekend we get a Barnes and Noble opening in Abilene, and they're going to have an author, and so I would like to go. I can't remember who the author is. William Goldman. See, I would never have gotten that. Would never have gotten that. I've known it. I don't know if Mr. Fiber has that one. I have to look and see if he has that one. Yeah, sweet relish, onions, boiled eggs. That's how I do my chicken salad. I love chicken salad. Lots of salt and pepper. Well, pepper anyway. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna have to go and go check in because Chelsea said Oliver's not feeling good. Solomon's not feeling good either. They have gone so long without having anything, and now they're not feeling good, and that sucks. I'm gonna go check on the boys. So I'm gonna let you guys go. I hope to see you tomorrow, but that's not a for sure unless I schedule it, okay? Because I have chiropractor tomorrow, and I'm not sure that I will be back in time to do it at 4 o'clock. So Thank you. Prayers would be appreciated. Thank you very much. Joyce's next book in the reading queue is A History of the World in 100 Animals. Okay. Hmm. So that must be about 100 animals, how they, where they are in different parts of the world. That would be interesting too. Yeah, that's I think that's the worry. Okay, y'all. I love y'all. I'm gonna go check on everybody. I gotta call Dad back and call Chelsea back. And I will see you again soon. Thank you so much for being here. Check out those channels. If you don't, you guys know all those people, I am sure. If you don't, I listed them down below and I hope you will go. And if you guys want, if you guys want to do the tag, just tag me when you like tag me when you do your tag video, okay? All right. Love y'all. Have fun today. Hi, Nancy. I'm on my way out. Hi, Vicky. Take care, everybody. See ya. Now I got to figure out how to. There we go. Nope, that's not it either. I never know how to end it.